up, and now we're live, and I couldn't click the card because the thing was
Oh, okay. I guess we're doing this backwards.
yeah, like I screwed that all up. I meant to hit the video and I hit the card.
Yeah, no, I've done that on the other show, but there we go.
And good morning, everyone.
Good
It is May
morning. Good
26th,
morning. Yeah,
2023, and
I know,
you're
right?
watching this shit show.
Yeah, Nita's keeping her voice down because she is in the hospital. Well, not her. Well, she's physically in the hospital, but C is having treatment next to her. So, she's in a cubicle, not in a private room. So this is going to be interesting today. So, good morning, everybody. Yes, I know it's like I said, we're doing things a little backwards today because that's kind of the vibe of the show. So
everything up.
Yeah, I know. So if you're just joining us, you didn't miss anything. We just hit all the wrong buttons, but yeah. So I guess it's a little quiet here today for everybody. I mean, I don't know, maybe Brian K. Morris went live or something. And
well, he did, I think, and also usually we do our little spiel before the card comes up, so we didn't do that this time. So we didn't give anybody time to get here and get notifications.
Right. Oh, okay. Well, it's like we'll just give it a little time. Like I said, we're running it backwards, but hey, look, at least when the card came down, Oswald wasn't in the room, right?
Good times.
Oh my goodness. Yes. I mean, if any of you missed Monday's show where we launched the next series of the Oswald Chronicles, you missed a very exclusive interview with Oswald himself. It was a lot of fun to do. And so if you missed it, check out the replay.
It was a traumatic experience for some, like Allison.
Well, because, things just... Hello, Allison. Good morning. So I guess finally, like, people are like slowly coming in, realizing, yes, no rat today. No, mouse, by the way.
He's just an itty bitty fella.
Yeah, exactly. But that was a lot of fun to do. I'll explain how I did that in a minute. So, you know what? We're just about like 5 minutes in, so I guess I might as well just do just start the intro so we could just get.
Yeah, hurry up before Frank gets here.
Yes, true. That's true. Let's before Afraid comes in and rings the bell. So, hello everyone. My name is Daphne Lage, and I'm a cartoonist, illustrator, and comic book artist from New York. I've been self-publishing comics since 1992, and you know what that means.
I will send you to Jesus.
And I am known for the furry fantasy. Oh, well, wrong card. See, all the wrong cards. Furry fantasy adventure, Tall Tales, which returns to Kickstarter next Friday with the first full color Tall Tales one shot, or so I thought. Next Friday, we will be launching. Is it next Friday? Yes. Oh my
Yes,
goodness, it is
ma'am.
next Friday.
This
I
Friday.
it would help if I made the video for it. Oops, I gotta get on top of that. Yeah, so next Friday we'll be launching the first full color Tall Tales book, Tall Tales, or so I thought. So make sure you join us then as well. But also, oh, that's right. Oh, that's why one of my cards is missing. Well, that's fine. That's okay. And yes, and I'm also known for my mature audiences, slice of life medieval fantasy. I really got to workshop that better. Eagle Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, which also returns to Kickstarter later on this year. Actually, issue 7 will be launching in a couple of months. I'm still working on it. So no fine wine before it's time. So again, make sure that you hit the link in the show notes below for Tall Tales and for Eagle Raven, so you can get notified whenever the campaigns go live. Although with Eagle Raven, you're going to have to do it at the main website. But for Tall Tales, the pre-launch page is live right now. And and in the meantime, you can check out all my comics online at Tall Tales, TAILS online.com, and eagleworks.com, EGOWORKS. And you can check out all my videos on how I make my comics here on YouTube at my channel at Daphne Lage Art, that's LAGE, which also simulcasts through the Indie Comics Network. And to whisper all about it, here's in the hospital.
My name is Nita Lanning. I'm the executive producer of the Indie Comics Network. I am a writer, blogger from Southeast Louisiana, and I am chemoing and shit today.
Yeah, well, not her specifically, but
No.
C is next to her, having his chemo treatment. That hopefully he will not need to have another one for another 6 months. So let's all send all the good vibes to C, so that he's not doing this again for a while. So,
'tis the hope.
yeah, that's the hope. Yes, it is. Oh my goodness. So let me see. Who else. Okay, so is Allison, yes, C is okay. He's just getting the treatment that he needed to get anyway.
He's actually doing remarkably well. Like, he responded very well to chemo and steroid combination. So he's pretty much back to himself. We just have to take extra precautions while we suppress his immune system.
Yeah.
So, but he's back to drawing and everything.
Yes, he is. I mean,
it's like on my nerves.
Oh, thank you, Patrick. Thank you. Yes. I mean, like I said, all the good vibes, but like I said, everything, in spite of everything, things seem to be going back to normal-ish, as normal as it's going to get, considering what's going on.
It's the new norm.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And yes, I see you, the 3 people just waking up next to the giant eyeball on my screen. Thank you so much for coming to the show. We're having kind of a late start, an early start, a weird start. I don't know, but thank you for joining us anyway. And if you're following us, if you're watching us on Facebook, if you're following us on Twitter, come on over to YouTube. Keep Allison and Patrick company in the chat. Like I said, everybody seems to be waking up.
Lonely.
Yeah, I know. And also, it's a holiday weekend, isn't it? Right? I mean, I think also everybody.
Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, it's like, when we all work from home, it's like holidays and all that stuff, and weekends don't seem to mean anything. So yeah, it's a little I have to keep looking at my calendar going, what day is it today anyway? But it is Friday, right?
Yeah. Yes, it is.
So a lot going on these last couple of days. It's yes, Nita. Oh, hey, Joe. Yes, hey, Glenn. Yes, Nita is on location. Yes, but it's just for today. C is just doing his usual treatment, and yes, the official start of summer. Luckily, over here it hasn't gotten sweltering, so any day that
Hmm.
I cannot use my air conditioner, I'm good. So I'm fine with that. So yeah, so let's see. So what's been going on this week? So like I said, it's like I am currently finishing Eagle Raven Air of the First Unicorn issue 7. I
My
still can't
gosh.
believe I'm on issue 7 already. I'm about 13 pages left on it. I'm hoping to finish it by the 31st. I still, because it's like there's still a couple of things I have to squeeze in as well. I still have to finish the last 3 sketch covers. Um, to get those out, which completes the fulfillment for Eagle Raven 6. So hopefully by Monday, you know what? No, not hopefully. Monday, I will finally get these sketch covers out. I have to make that determination, or else I'm just going to be sitting on them the entire time. They're very pretty, by the way. They're very shiny and very pretty, but I do need to finish them and get them out. So um, if you did pledge to my campaign and you haven't filled out your survey, I have a couple of stragglers, not that many this time around, thank goodness. So if you haven't filled out your survey, please do so I can get your books out. If you haven't received your books yet, it's probably because, and if you got a sketch cover, it's probably because it's still on my desk. But Monday, I will be sending out the last of those. Um so hopefully we can get that cross that one off the list. Also, I'm very excited today. I should be getting the proof for Tall Tales, or so I thought. It's a mini trade paperback that I proofed out, that I should be getting today. So hopefully by Monday, definitely on Monday, I will be able to show off the proof for that, so that we can finally launch the book on Friday. I mean, I can't believe that we're already. It's funny. Instead of like marking my day, my days through like a normal person, it's more like, oh my god, it's like we're already at this book, we're already at that book that we have to launch on Kickstarter. I mean,
Right.
that's how my year is scheduled now. It's like, which book are we up to? um and it's like, yeah, and it's like, so Tall Tales means that it's June. And I can't get over that. Yeah. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to releasing that. Like I said, it's the first full color Tall Tales book that I've ever put out, and I am just excited to see what it looks like. The proof is going to look like. Um. So yeah. So I mean, so like we had said before, Nita is on location at the hospital. So if she's not that talkative, it's because of that. She's not in a private room. She's in like a cubicle setting.
Yeah, there's like, I don't know, like 12
Right,
little setups across from each other. I mean,
right.
it's private, but not.
Right. So like I said, if she's a little more quiet than usual, or if she has to kind of like go behind her screen, that's the reason why, because it's like she can't really get as excitable as as we usually do.
And y'all don't know how hard it is for me.
Yeah, I know, because it's like, oh, we're surrounded by people.
I know, right? I'm an
Uh,
anxiety ridden ADHD freaking borderline personality. Just, I'm
right.
crawling in my skin being quiet.
You know, but I mean, hey, that's what we need to do today. So so yeah, so just so everybody understands what's going on. So the other day, a couple of things. So the other day I was yes, definitely. I was watching Sam Vera's latest video, his 10 minutes or less. I was like watching those, because it's like, one, because it gives me ideas, and two, I mean, it's
Right?
like, it's interesting to see what other people are talking about certain things. And he was talking about how the most important, like the most important thing in doing what you do is your story. Know your story. And it had me, and it had me really thinking about it because it dovetailed with something that when Tom Hutchinson was on Jose's Sunday stream, JD's Sunday stream a couple of weeks ago. He had said that it's like, you know what, it doesn't matter like how many naked pretty girls you put on your covers. If you don't have a story to keep people, they're not staying. You know, and so and then it's like, Sam was talking about, your story is your most important thing. Like it's the foundation of everything
Right.
that you do. And if you don't have a story, then why are you even doing this? You know,
A quick
I
buck,
know,
Daphne. Don't you know how it goes?
yeah, I know, really. Hey, friend. Um,
I mean, this is the easiest money you could possibly make, right?
Oh my God, absolutely it is not. I mean, it still amazes me that people can think that, that doing comics is somehow easy money.
Right.
And because no, trust me, there are easier ways to make money than doing comics. It's like, if you're not doing it yourself, you're having to hire people and wrangle people to do the comics for you, and that's really, I mean, yeah, there are definitely easier ways to make money. So, so it's like, so the whole thing of variant covers like really came up this week. There's a project going on, and it's like, and I'm seeing kind of like all these variant covers come in, and then there's just yeah, I know, right? Go figure.
Just give it time, dude. You're gonna
You
be a
know?
baller. Like you'll be a millionaire next week. It's cool.
Yeah, I know, right? And and also the thing is too is that I do have my experiment campaign coming up, the medieval unicorn Viking slut, and I'm adding more. It's like every couple of weeks I add a new variant cover to
Yes,
it.
you are.
And last night I added another variant cover to the campaign. And it's like, look, I'm having a good time here. That's all I can say. But if you join us on Saturday, if you join us tomorrow for House of Bob, because it's already the end of the month, before I forget, Saturday, tomorrow from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m., House of Bob, our adults only live stream, is back on the air. And if you if you want get if you want to see the variant covers that I've been the other variant covers that I've been working on, I'll give everybody a sneak peek tomorrow
Yeah,
as
you
to
want to see.
you know, we're mixing it up a bit, let's just say.
Good
you
morning,
know
Grant. I don't have a
well,
table in here, so I'd really have no choice.
yeah, exactly. It's like she has the laptop literally on.
Literally in my lap.
Yeah, so um so it's like, there's always this question popping up like, oh, should I do variant covers and this, that, and the other thing? And the thing is, though, it's like, and I think it's kind of a shame that this over representation of the variant cover scene, of the TNA comics and things. It's like, look, you can't convince me otherwise. I really do think that this category of comics on Kickstarter is vastly overrepresented. And and the thing is, and Tom um and it brought up a good point that it's, of the whole thing, that it's like, well, if you don't have a story, nobody has a reason to stay. All you're doing is you're catering to a speculative variant cover market that is in a bubble, and that, and as all bubbles, it's going to burst. And it's like, and if all you're doing is that you're pushing the whole reason your campaign exists is to push variant covers, then when that bubble bursts, where does that leave you?
Right.
So like I was like really like thinking about that, and then Sam was talking about, like how the story of your book that's the foundation of everything that you do. I mean, sure, you can add all the gimmicks you want to your campaigns, to reach a certain, reach certain milestones. It's like, oh, I could, it's like, it's very easy. You study enough of these campaigns and you can see how easy it is to fake a 5-figure campaign.
Oh yeah.
You know, um, it's like, yeah, you just have to, it's like, yeah, you have a lot of variant covers, a lot of expensive bundles. Um,
Throw a
it,
big titty bitch in space
yeah,
or a
exactly.
desert or
Right. It's like where it's, I mean, the fact that I see a lot of these campaigns, well, yeah, I mean, you know what? Yeah, it was annoying when mainstream was doing it, and it's even more annoying now. Um, because again, it's like they're catering to a speculative market. The people who are buying these variant covers, they're only buying them to slab them and then put them away. It's like, to see how many of these campaigns put the actual interior pages at the very bottom
or
of
at all.
campaign, if at all. I mean, there's this campaign, this account that I've been following for the past 2.5 years, and to this day I do not know what their interiors look like, because they all they do is sell variant covers. Like, that's the focus of their campaign for all these years. And it's like, now mind you, they're gorgeous variant covers. I mean,
Right.
I think his name is Jose Varis, I think. Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous work. The man knows how to draw a Roger Rabbit like nobody's business, and it's really funny, how he does, he does these really, really great, like, Jessica Rabbit crossovers. Of course, they're all sexy.
Yes, but they do it through the safety of the reinforced plastic, Patrick.
Yes, they do.
Duh.
Yes, they do. Yes, remember, it's graded, graded, it's slabbed, and then, you can wipe it
Completely
off.
wipeable.
Yes, exactly. So it just, so it just really just had me thinking about this, that it's like, in the end, if you take away the variant covers of a lot of these campaigns, what do they have really? It's like, it's like, do they really have, especially since now we're taught, I really do believe that we're
There
also,
are a couple that
uh,
that carry a story.
right.
So this is a not all men moment,
Well,
like
yeah, not all TNA comics.
there are a few that actually do manage to carry a good story, but the vast majority, you take away those covers and there is nothing there.
Hmm.
Nothing.
Yeah,
There's the stories are usually uh they aren't intriguing. There's very little, if any, character development. You're left wanting for sure.
yeah, yeah. So yeah,
And let's not even get into, since they spent so much money on their cover artist, how
right.
little they want to pay their interior artist.
Well, yeah, because
And it
in the end,
shows.
yeah, because the interiors don't matter. You
Right.
see, and I think that that's kind of insulting to the reader that supposedly they want for their books, where it's like that pretty much a lot of these campaigns are saying, we could print this on blank paper and you guys will still buy it because you just want a particular artist on the cover,
Right.
you know? And I think, and honestly, and I think that that's insulting, you know, but at the same time, it's like the people that they're catering to, I don't think really care,
It's like,
so
for that, then if you're gonna have all these variant covers and stuff, why don't you just do a pinup book of all these artists?
because you
Like,
can't slap them.
this is true.
Again, it's like catering. It's heavy pandering to this speculator market. Um, and it really, and I think it does, on a certain level, distract from the actual work that goes into the books that we do, especially when we're not doing books that caters, um
Depends on the girl. We have to turn the
right, it's like,
page.
right, exactly. you know um although it's like, I try to keep my books, those books, in pristine condition. So
Absolutely not. You missed your chance. Oh no.
So,
no, you have to freeze.
so you see, real life here, real life people. So, so especially when we're doing books. So what happens when we're doing books when that's not catering to that market, that's not catering to that speculator crowd, then where does that leave us? And then it's like something else came up that I saw on Twitter. So Tyler was talking about like someone had he said, okay, so this is the tweet that I saw. I heard the following quote this morning. Amateurs want to do what they love while professionals learn to love what it takes. And even I had to stop at that. It's like, whoa, it's like I almost got like really defensive about it for us, a split second. And, after ruminating on it, and it's like, you know what? It's like, that's where it leaves us. For those of us who are not going in for the easy fix of, the easy, it's like, because in the end, it's like the covers still have to look good, right? You see, and here's the thing. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's like, it's easy. It's like these types of things are easier only in a sense that it's easier to market TNA to this audience that wants it than it is to introduce a whole new, book that doesn't need to, that you don't want to depend on that. So it's easy in that sense. So and then because it's like what's always funny is that then you go, if you really look at all the books, the TNA books that are competing with each other and to see which ones actually move forward. I mean, that's actually kind of fun to see, because then you get to see that it's like that not all variant covers are created equal.
No, I was looking at a campaign yesterday where like a few of the variant covers were like selling 10, 15 copies a piece, but there were a lot of them, even the complete nude ones, and they had 0 backers. It was like, wow.
Yeah. So I mean, so it is kind of interesting to see that, even in that sense that this is easier to market, you still kind of got to have the right combination of things for it to work, essentially.
Well, for one,
So,
it needs to be sexy. Just
well,
saying.
that's I know, it's like you'd be amazed. So, like I said, so I was thinking about this comment that Tyler had brought up. Amateurs want to do what they love, while professionals learn to love what it takes. And it's really like I said, once you get over the initial shock, of the fray of the line, it's like, what, as independent creators, we have to wear so many hats. We have to do so much of the stuff by ourselves. And, and especially if we're doing a book that's not, like I said, not catering to that speculative variant cover market, marketing ourselves becomes even more important because we don't have that initial easy in. We don't have, it's like, oh, you can't just put a pair of tits on the cover and get that initial attention, so marketing becomes even more important. And it's just kind of funny to see how that's where a lot of creators stop. That it's like that they'll do everything else for their book, except when it comes to marketing it and trying to spread the word. They go, oh, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I just want to do my art,
Right.
And
or make one post on Facebook and I shared it. I don't understand why nobody's backing me.
right, yeah, it's like they just like that's the wall that they hit. That's like marketing, And there was, something that Sam had. Now, I don't know if I like agree with this that he had brought up, that it's like, because in the end his video went from talking about how the story is your foundation to the story is how the story makes it easier for you to market, which sounds like a no-brainer. Um, but I guess a lot of people they just want to like, okay, let me just talk about the Flash. Let me just talk about, the tchotchkes and the variant covers, and look at all the artists I have all the on these covers, and then you never hear about the story.
Right.
You never hear about, like, well, who is this character? I mean, yeah, it's like, okay, I see you have the character dressed up as Marvel characters or something, but who is she? You
Right.
know? And there is no, like, mention
Or the
of
ones who get
story.
so caught up on the artists
Yeah,
themselves,
that
not
they have.
even their character
Yeah,
or their character cosplaying. Like, there are a lot of campaigns that were dependent on Shikari. Well, now that Shikari's gone exclusive to Comics Elite, what are they going to carry themselves with? Because their
right,
stories were weak.
right,
It was those
exactly.
fine ass covers that he was putting out that was,
Right. Exactly. It's like, yeah, what happens when you don't have, yeah, it's like, because there was one thing that a discussion came up where it's like, you know what, if you buy a Shikari for one campaign, you have to have Shikari for all your campaigns.
yeah.
And that's a very
Or
expensive.
or just be willing to bite the bullet and know that you're not going to fund that high
Yeah.
again, because
Yeah.
Shikari alone was funding campaigns.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now he's moved on to Comics Elite. So what do these
Right.
people have?
Right, exactly. Again, it's like, what do you, if you don't have that variant cover, what do you have to talk about?
Right.
And yeah, and it's like in a lot, and these campaigns, it's like, the way they promote is like, well, I have this cover, I have that cover, you can collect all these covers and this, that, and the other thing. And again, it's like, well, okay, and but again, it's like, I mean, it's kind of weird, because if you really think about it, I mean, it's like you're talking about, you have these campaigns that are catering to people who don't even like comics.
Right.
Where it's like they only want the cover, they only want to slab it, they could care less about your story, they could care less about reading it. So it's like it's kind of a weird, I don't know, it's kind of like a weird thing to focus on. So, but the thing that Sam had said, right? So that he had said that the story is how you market, it is how you market your book. It's like, because a lot of people do it in reverse, where they market first and then they make up everything else about the book later. And it's like, and the implication being is that people don't market because they don't know their story, and which is kind of weird. um
But they do it all the time. I mean, we see it. Even
right,
I've even seen campaigns launch where nothing's complete.
right,
Yeah, even like there's a lot of these, and I'm sorry if I hurt somebody's feelings in a minute, but these ideas guys that have
yeah,
to hire a writer, have to hire an artist, they do have nothing but a concept, and they present it to actual creators to develop it for them. But
right,
they don't know what the fuck they're selling yet.
right,
Like, this is my strong female character, and she's gonna whatever. Like, and
right.
that's what they got. That's it.
Right, that's all they have. Yeah, and it's just kind of, yeah. Okay, so you know what? Now that you mentioned it like that, it's like, oh, okay. You know what? Now Sam's thing makes more sense. It's true.
Right?
That's
No, it's true.
true. Yeah, that is true. Where it's like, yeah, that they literally don't know the story. And I think for people who do know the story, I think that the other hurdle is, I don't know. It's like, for some reason, like, creators have this thing about becoming, like, we can talk about other people's stuff all the time. Like, I could talk about, let's see, is it to the point that people don't talk about story because they don't want people to poke holes? I kind of wonder if that's
Absolutely, I
something,
think that's part of
you
it,
know
because they don't even know what the fuck they're doing. So yeah, this gonna be full of fucking holes.
right.
More holes
But
than the women on their covers have.
ah!
One shot. What?
Yeah, so, and but the other thing was that a lot of creators, like I said, we can talk about other people's stuff, like our favorite books that from other people, we could talk about those all day. But when it comes to our own stuff, all of a sudden we get really, really shy about talking about it. And that's something that I think that we really, really, really need to get over ourselves with, because because that's the thing. I mean, it's like we have to know how to talk about our stories if we're going to try to get more eyes on our books. It's like if the only way that we're going to kind of like not be better, but just be able to like compete for the attention that all these gimmick variant covers get. um the only other way for us to do it is to have a more compelling story.
Right.
It is like, okay, well, it's like, all right, so okay, you got this character, doing whatever on the cover, and she got her tits out or something. But you know what? It's like at the end of the day, you could actually read my comic, and this is the story. Now, here's the thing, though. It's a longer haul. It's going to take a lot more effort to be able to intrigue people like that than to like flop a naked character in their face. So yes, it is going to be harder. I'm not going to say that it's easier. It's like in the long run it'll be worth it. Because like I said, all speculator bubbles
Pop.
eventually burst. And the question is that where are you going to be when that bubble bursts? If your entire marketing, if your entire, if the entire foundation of your book is catering to a speculator market, where are you going to be when that finally collapses?
When people stop speculating.
Right, exactly. And again, it's like we're already seeing a correction on Kickstarter where it's like whatever leads that, whatever like put momentum that we were getting from everybody having to stay home and not spending money and this, that, and the other thing. Now that's off the table. I mean, there are people who it's like they built their entire foundation on their campaigns, you know, um, performing the way it did 2 years ago.
Right.
And now they're saying, oh shit, now they're just seeing their campaigns going down and down and down and down. And now we're seeing people
Not
panicking.
even just campaigns. Look, the TNA community is feeling it some too. And don't let them tell you they're not, because I've
Right.
noticed a steep drop off in sales for some artists that were thriving during COVID and when we were staying at home. And that's because they got on social media, they developed a following of their own. And so when somebody hired them, whether their art was subpar, like, or not even,
Right.
they sold on their name alone. And
Right.
so they were getting more jobs and selling covers because their groups would follow them over. I'm seeing a lot of that drop off.
Right. Because people aren't spending as much time online
No,
anymore.
no. And
Yeah.
now we need to take our money and go bowling, take our kids to the zoo. The amusement parks are
Yeah.
open again. It's like we have other things to spend our money on. We're not
Right.
desperate for entertainment.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So in the end, it's like, so what is your foundation?
Right,
It's like what is your story? And here's the thing too. So going back to Tyler's comment is that, if doing comics is something you want to do, right? Exactly. It's like, well, that's true too.
right,
Exactly. It's like look, it's like what they say in stocks, right? Diversify your portfolio.
right,
Um, you know, so it's like it's the same thing here. Um, you know, it's if you're doing like I said, it's hard enough. It's like there's easier ways to make money in comics. So you want to come in, you want to be able to thrive doing this, not just survive but thrive doing this. And in the end, the only way you're going to do that is to have that story that you really, really want to tell.
right,
I mean, it's like if you didn't, like, look, if you're not Polito and you didn't spend the last 35 years building your audience, okay, look, Polito is, he's his own thing, you know. He has this. I mean, talk about a guy who survived bubbles. That's a man who knows how to
right,
survive bubbles.
right.
You know, he probably went through every kind of speculator bubble there was, so he knows how to survive that. So we're not worried about Polito. You know, he's going like that variant cover market could collapse right now, and he'll be okay.
Oh, he'll be fine.
But a lot of people who want to think of themselves as low budget Politos, they're probably not going to.
Or worse, than ones with multiple IPs coming out a month. It's like, you're not the next Image Comics. And
Right.
Let me not get ugly.
Right.
But there are so many, and that's actually something I've heard them say. I'm gonna be I'm like the next Image Comics, and I'm like, no.
Which image? The
Which
one
isn't a
that
good example anyway. Yeah, right. But
That
whatever, dude.
you know?
Go ahead. If that's your inspiration, but like, so is everybody else.
You know, I mean, and that's the thing too. Like, if you do have multiple stories you want to tell, I hate using the word IP. I really do. It just kind of like sucks all the creative juices out of what we're talking about, and that's not my intention at all. I mean, it's like look, the final book when you know this, you know, it's like this is a product. This is a product. The work that I put into it is the art. You know? So, you know, but the thing is though, is I just hate calling this an IP. So, yeah, I know. But it you know, but that's what it is. I mean, we're selling a comic book, but you know, in the end, it's the art of it that's going to get you over, the story of it, the creativity of it that's going to get you over. Remember, the top 200 most funded books on Kickstarter, except for Keanu Reeves, unless you're Keanu Reeves, you know, and Brian Polito. It's like all of these books, the most funded, they built their audiences elsewhere for years and then brought them to Kickstarter. And that's how they got over on a Kickstarter, because, you know, they built that audience. So even if you're doing multiple stories, you have to let those stories build. You know, you can't just keep like, you know, like, oh, this IP and that IP, oh, this is trendy now and this is trendy now. Like, you're following trends as opposed to creating stories. And again, trends drop off, you know, bubbles pop. You know, so it's like, what you want to do is you want to, even if you have multiple stories, remember that you have to build those audiences for each of those stories. I mean, maybe
that's the catch right there. Like, yeah, you'll have a few people who follow you for your publication company. It'll happen. But not everybody is going to transfer to each individual IP. And that's something that they tend to forget. They think, oh, well, they'll automatically convert. It's like, no.
I mean, it's like, look, it's like there are people who do multiple books that I might only be interested in one of them. Just because one person, you know, one person does like multiple stories doesn't mean that if I'm a fan of one, it means I'm a fan of the others. So, you know, so that's kind of, you know, you're only going to have so much overlap. I mean, when we talk about like Eagle Raven, Tall Tales, and the Oswald Chronicles, we have some overlap. But it's not the same audience for all three books. Tall Tales has its own audience that are regulars. Eagle Raven has its own audience that are regulars, and Oswald has their own has its own audience that are regulars. But we can't do these comics thinking that, oh, it's all going to be the same people because it's all coming out of the same house. You know, it's like, no, it's not. So technically we've made our job 3 times harder, because we have instead of concentrating on one book, we have 3 different books that we have to develop 3 different audiences for, or that we have developed different audiences for. You know, but in the end, though, it's like, it's not to say that something like variant covers won't work for you, or it's like you shouldn't do it. I mean, it's like, if you have the type of story, just remember, you know, the market for that stuff, they want very, very particular imagery. You know, they want, you know, and you know, and most of the time, you know, it's like, yeah, it's like, yeah, it's the particular imagery part that you really have to consider. It's like it's not just about, oh, here's a cover from a different artist. That's not necessarily going to work for you.
Nope.
Um, if you want, if you can do the type of variant covers that this market wants, and you think it'll work for you and it'll help push you over a couple of milestones, so that at least in the end it's like, whatever money you raised on those goes back into what you're doing, right? you know well, I guess, Grant, the point there is like, um yeah, but you see, but Eastman and Laird were just fucking around when they did that book. They had no idea. I don't think that they ever thought that this stupid little idea that they were goofing around with was going to go anywhere. So to kind of look at, oh, I have to do multiple IPs because I don't know which one is going to take off. I don't necessarily agree that that's a good idea to kind of
I
focus
don't
on.
know. I don't have a problem with people taking on a couple of IPs. It's the
Right.
ones that just suddenly become their own IP farmers. Like if you have enough time that you can give your all into one or two projects to get a feel for what works in the market for you,
Right.
what takes off better, than maybe. But I just think it's better to be laser focused.
Yeah.
But I'm not opposed to the idea either.
Right. I mean, it's, yeah, because it's like, because in the end, what's your limit? It's like, if you're
Right.
doing like a 4-issue limited series, maybe that might be enough to test whether an idea works or not. But I've seen way too many people who they do like the one issue, and if issue one doesn't blow up, oh, I got to move on to the next project. It's like an issue one is not enough for people.
No, you don't know where you are until at least your third issue.
Yeah,
At,
yeah,
at least your third, and I would go as far as to say your
right,
fourth or fifth
right.
on any
And
ongoing
that's
series. I mean, like you said,
right,
unless it's a mini series to test the
right.
waters.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that would, yeah, it's like definitely do a mini series if you want to test the waters. Because it's like, yeah, because again, it's like your story has to be out long enough for people to care,
Right.
you
Like
know?
I'm all for it. If you want to do the multiples, that's fine. But have it set up for like a 4 issue run, where you can take the same world if it takes off and create
Right,
a new arc and go
right,
from there.
right. So that way it's like if you see that it's not working, you only did 4 issues and it's a complete story. And it's like, look, you get a trade out of that. So it's like, yeah, you get a trade out of the 4 issues, and then you have another book, on your
Right.
shelf. So even if you if you decide not to go anywhere else with that, you have another book in your catalog. I mean, that
Right.
was
Don't
also
tell
a thing.
people you have the trade coming until those 4 issues are out.
Well, yeah, if I were doing Eager Raven differently, well, I probably would have just continued with the individual issues and put the trades at the very end. I think I definitely probably would have done it a little differently, but it's a little too late now. So, which is the reason why I'm seeing a dip in my campaigns, in my last couple of campaigns, because everyone's waiting for the trade. So, I mean, I ended up creating that accidentally. So, but also at the same time, it's like, look, it's also a different audience too for the trade. So, you know, I mean, it's like, look, it's the type of thing that you don't know until you're in it.
Right.
Because JD has the opposite problem with his trades. People actually want his individual issues. So again, it just goes to show you that it's like, sometimes, um, that I don't know, like sometimes an audience that you think would be more receptive to something is not. So it's like you got to be able to pivot, I guess, where you need to. Well, that's true too. That I mean, sure, I took it personally for a split second, but then in the end, it's like, look, everyone's probably waiting for the trade, and that's fine, and
And
whatnot.
we're still not in a
Yeah,
stabilized market even now.
Yeah.
We're in the middle of a metamorphosis as to what
Right.
crowdfunding is going to be for the
Hmm.
future.
Yeah, that's
It,
true. So but you see, I have so many thoughts about Tyler's tweet. So it's like I said, it's like, so a lot of people, they bump their head up against the whole marketing thing. And and the thing is that really gets me is professionals learn to love what it takes. And that took me kind of a little bit, because again, it's like marketing wasn't this thing where like, look, nobody wants to do it in the end. It's like we just want to show up and think our shit is so great that build it and they will come. It's like, no, that's not what happens.
ain't
You
Field of
know?
Dreams, motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, no, you're not building a mousetrap and you're not building a baseball diamond. So they're not coming. Um, so but I think that we do have to learn how to enjoy the process of promoting, of marketing, so that if we enjoy it more, we tend to do it more. It's kind of like how I started training again, half marathon training. And seriously, I'm on almost a 2 week streak now. Um, and I'm still at the, oh God, why am I doing this this phase? I'm still at that, right?
If you
But
start your morning off with a run, your day can't get any worse.
that's true. Yes. And it is true. It is true. Because I do feel bad. Because once you get that run over with, and this is the thing too, the marketing is kind of the same thing. It's like, yes, it kind of sucks until you get used to it. But once you get it over with, at least now you can, you don't have to spend all day on this. You spend an hour, going through groups, going on Facebook, making posts and whatnot, telling
Short
people.
videos help.
Right. Yeah, we talked about the whole thing um about doing, adding YouTube to your portfolio, adding, doing videos. And here's the thing. So the idea is to make it, like, try to make it at least somewhat fun. Kind of gamify it, where it's like, okay, if I do this, this, and this, well, I'll get this, will I get this result? It's kind of like, and just to see, and in the end, it's like, that's kind of how I play around with marketing. It's like, okay, I see this happening. If I do this, will I get this result? Now, the trick is not to get wrapped up in the result. Because again, as ancients like to say, you are only entitled to your effort, not your results. You know? Right, exactly. You go to a convention, you're exhausted, but it's time, it's showtime.
Right.
So that's kind of, how you
And
have to
stop
look at
putting on the same show as everybody else. Learn how to talk about your story. Learn how
it.
to
Right,
talk about how you got your ideas for your character
right.
development.
Yeah,
Learn how to embrace and talk about your
yeah,
world. Because let me
right.
give you a little bit of advice, people. I don't give a fuck what show you go on. The second you pull up your campaign,
Yeah.
90% of the people are going to tune out. We're tired of
Hmm.
the campaign crawls. So
Yeah,
make yourself entertaining. Um, Even suggest a host when you go on their show, save my campaign for the end when they actually
yeah,
pull it up and you can just briefly scroll
right.
through it. Don't
Mhm.
stick to that because it's boring, it's old, it's outdated, it's done.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I've done it myself, campaign coach, I'm out. Yeah, it's like, okay, they're just gonna, if I wanted to read the campaign, I can go to the campaign, you know yeah, so try to kind of like gamify the marketing aspect so that you learn to like that this is, that this is something that you can work on. And also the thing is too, it's like, if you consider yourself a storyteller, storytell. It's like, that's kind of the thing. Marketing's hard, I know. I'm not going to say that it is. I'm still kind of getting used to it. But for those of you, especially if you want to, if you're feeling really adventurous and you want to make this a little bit more fun, so on Monday, like I said, we launched Jose called, JD Calderon's The Oswald Chronicles, right? And we had Oswald himself on the show that we were all we were all talking to and freaking Nita and Allison out. Well, only because Nita thought she was hallucinating. Right?
No, I was so confused because what went through my head first is I thought you had thrown the bump, but it started weird.
Right.
So it took me a minute to realize that it was you, and I was just like, whoa. I
Yeah.
mean, I wasn't hallucinating. I was just a little
Right.
slow, a delayed
It is.
reaction, if you will.
It It was funny because just to see your reaction. I was just watching it the other day. It was really funny. Um, so what that was, like I said, go back to that episode. It's the very last 15 minutes of the show when Oswald pops. So we've talked, we've spoken about the idea of getting VTubers done and whatnot. Like Visenia, she makes VTubers, and I've watched her stream where she rigs them and whatnot. I go, oh my god, this is complicated. I would really love to have a VTuber, but it's just really complicated. The rigging is time consuming. And even if I wanted somebody to do it, it's expensive. It can cost up to $2,000 for somebody to rig a VTuber. And it's like, that's not an investment that I really want as much as, I think that we could benefit from that. So on Twitter, the concept of a VTuber came up. And I was just very excited at the idea because I've seen people do them where it's just a 2D. It's not a 3D model. It's a 2D. And the it's very limited and whatnot, but it kind of gets the job done. And this one in particular, I was very excited about because the program, well, I accidentally came across the program, but the initial concept of a PNG tuber, all it is just flat 2D illustrations that the PNGs, that the program switches them out as you speak. So, you have to, you can take any 2D, you do the little mouth forms, and then the program you set up, it's very easy to set up the program. It's tedious, but it's easy. And you can get this 2D character, like acting and talking, as you speak. You need OBS for this to work properly, but so when I was doing more research on it, I came across this program called Honk, Honk. And what made Honk different was that it specialized in lip syncing. It wasn't just open mouth, open closed. If you do take the animation principles of different mouth forms to create different sounds, you put them together, and that's what I was testing out on Monday. So you speak into a microphone and the program syncs up the mouth according to the words that you're saying. So you kind of get like this animated character talking. And for those of you who would like to do videos but don't like the idea of being on camera, I think that instead of a VTuber, if you can't afford a VTuber, that getting a PNG tuber done might be a much better
It's a much better alternative than sitting there behind your avatar all the time.
Yeah.
Like if
I
more
were
engaging.
Yeah, it's like if I were to shut off my camera, right? So
Right.
if this is what we usually see. But imagine if you could have your own character talking.
Right.
Which, like I said, I was testing that on Monday. And so Honk, it's not a free program. It cost me a whole $12 for me to buy, but it was worth every penny of that $12.
Are you going to recover from that?
Oh, I think so. I think I can. I think the worst part of that program is deciding who's next, which is the next character I'm going to it opened up once I saw how the Oswald interview went. It's like, you know what, this is it, this is what I was looking for. And it opened up a lot of options for me in terms of we could have so many characters. We could do so many things, because it's so you do the base like you're doing a 2D a 2D tuber, a VTuber, but it's just 2D. You don't have it's actually not that complicated. Once you have the mouth forms done, that you did the hard part. Everything else you could just kind of like slice and alter. And, when you get the hang of the program, and and how to adjust the layers and whatnot, so this is kind of like, so like I said, if you're the type that it's like you want to market, but you don't want to put your face out there, or if you want to do like more interesting videos for your Kickstarter, right? So you could literally have your character talking about the book.
I think it's an excellent idea just to do shorts, because I can see how it could actually get played out on live streams.
Right.
Like not now because not many people are doing it, but I could see it oversaturating as another gimmick.
Right.
However, I think it's a very good idea. Short, like your 30-second to 3-minute videos.
Yeah.
I think it would be highly entertaining.
Right, because
I multiple clicks.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think that there's a lot of, with so many different characters out there, because it's like, look, you go on Twitch and everybody's using VTubers.
Right.
It's its own category. It's like, VTubers, PNG tubers. I didn't even know PNG tubers existed. I didn't know what they were called. So again, it's like, so if you want to kind of like, you want to market, but you're not sure how to do it, or you kind of like, you're still kind of reticent in being on camera, maybe a PNG tuber might be the way to go, might be a way for you to make that transition, to be able to like literally put on a costume, right? A digital costume, and promote, and kind of have that weird separation, like kind of like a mental separation, where you're able to promote your book better, maybe. I mean, it's like, look, I was just excited with the whole thing. So like I said, it has a lot of potential. And I think that this is something that might help a lot of people too.
Right.
I mean, we all know what VTubers are. So it's like, I don't know. I mean, it's like that, because this is the thing. It's like, look, I know we're doing art, right? But there comes a point where we have to become professionals with what we're doing. It's like, look, if you're just doing this as a hobby, that's great, but the thing is, though, if you're looking to really push your work, you're putting all this work into it, you want more people to see it,
right?
You have to cross that threshold of, you have to learn marketing. You have to learn how to talk about your book. You have to learn, what's your story? What's your foundation? You have to build your foundation so that
you have to learn to have a conversation, period.
Yeah.
I see so many of these guys go on streams and freeze.
Yeah.
Like you've got to sell your book and yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Remember, it's like, this is what the internet is forcing us to be. It's forcing us to be.
You're not just the artist behind a signature anymore. That's
exactly.
not how it works.
Right. It's like, you have to sell yourself as much as you have to sell your book. But the thing is, though, you are the book. The book is you. So it's like, it would only make sense, that it's like, you have to incorporate more of yourself into your marketing.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, so in the end, it's like, yes. So know your story, know your foundation, if the gimmicks work for you, then please take advantage. But remember, that speculator bubbles burst. So
always going to be short-lived.
Your book needs to be able to exist without the gimmicks. Just as much as the gimmicks can help your campaigns, it could also be the detriment of it when that audience decides they're going to move on. So it's just something, something to really think about. Well, right, exactly. Like I said, it's like we have to get over ourselves, and we really have to, it's like,
I'm not a social butterfly. I just play one on TV.
Exactly. And you know what? That's, it's like, what? I stayed at a Holiday Inn Express. We know the commercials, right? So it's like, that's kind of how we have to move on, to move on with ourselves and our book. It's like, look, it's like, yeah, can you do the gimmicks? Can you do the variant covers? Absolutely. but they cannot be the foundation of your work, or else you're just wasting your
It's not
time.
sustainable long term.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, that's not what keeps people coming back to your book. Remember, the top 200 most funded comics, most of them did not need variant covers or any of that. It's just like they just existed on the audience that they built. They didn't need the gimmicks. They didn't need, everything else. So, so that's in the end what you have to. As long as you have a really good foundation, you can weather any storm.
And stop measuring your success based on other people's numbers.
Oh,
Because
yeah,
let me tell you, I've been in marketing long enough to know that there are some $10,000-$15,000 campaigns where at the end of the day, after all the covers, after all the tchotchkes, after all the nonsense, the take home for the creator is actually less than somebody who made between 5 and 8K.
Yeah.
When they did most of the work themselves and had
Right, exactly.
not as many variants and options and pinups and
Right, yeah.
whatnot. Like,
And remember,
that,
yeah, I mean, and as JD had said succinctly on Monday, don't count other people's money.
no.
Don't count other people's money. So, I think on that note, because we're just a little past the top of the hour, I think we're going to end it on that note. So,
We're gonna get the fuck out of here.
yeah, I know you are. I know you are. I know you and C are. That's for sure. Oh, so how long is that anyway?
We have about 4 hours left.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah, I just hope my children don't kill each other.
Wow, that's intense. So, well, but hey, look, hopefully you won't need to see that place for another 6 months at
Hopefully.
least. Yeah,
And maybe not even then.
exactly. So good vibes going their way. So, any final thoughts, Nita, on all this?
My final thought is, yeah, that was it. That was my
Right.
final thought. Stop
Right.
counting other people's money. JD nailed it.
Right. Yeah.
It-
Also, there was one thing. There was one card that I had wanted to show a couple of shows ago that I had forgotten, which I think is still relevant. Your potential, the absolute best you're capable of. That's the metric to measure yourself against. Your standards are winning is not enough. People can get lucky and win. People can be assholes and win. Anyone can win, but not everyone is the best possible version of themselves.
Word.
I think we could end on that. So, thank you everybody for joining us. Thank you everybody in the chat. Thank you for the 8 people who are watching us from regions beyond. Thank you so much for joining us. So, if you want to learn more about me and my artwork and my upcoming campaigns, despite the messy beginning of the show, you're going to head on over to my main portfolio site at egoworks.com, EGOWRKS, where you can find links to all of my galleries and social media sites, but I mostly post to Facebook if you're interested in seeing sketches and current work in progress and live updates as I make them. And you can also check out all my videos on YouTube at my channel at Daphne Lage Art, which also simulcasts through the Indie Comics Network. So make sure you to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you get notified whenever any of our shows go live. Also, remember, you can read Eagle Raven, Air the First Unicorn for free, uploading every day, Monday through Friday. But if you prefer your fantasy to be more of a furry Lord of the Rings adventure, you can follow the link over to Tall Tales, TAILSonline.com. And not only can you read the first 20 issues of Tall Tales for free, you can catch up on the latest story arc, Tears of the Mother, which is also currently uploading Monday through Friday. Also, speaking of Tall Tales, remember, next week we are launching Tall Tales, or so I thought, the first full color Tall Tales book. Link is in the show notes below so that you can sign up and get notified when the campaign goes live. And if you want to join more in our discussion about variant covers and all TNA books and all this stuff, join us tomorrow on House of Bob, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern. I will be drawing another variant cover. I'll be showing off some other variant covers that I'm making. Speaking of variant covers, I have plenty of variant covers that I'm working on. I'll be showing those off, some new ones tomorrow on the show as well. So if you want to join the conversation, join us tomorrow. Remember, it's an adult-only live stream. You have to be logged in and age verified to watch it. But once you're in, just join the conversation, and we're going to have a good time. So thank you so much
There'll
for
be
joining us.
tacos and sausage for everybody.
Well, yes, definitely. That's for sure. It's going to be, yeah. So you wait till you guys see this new cover. So, yes, so we'll see everybody tomorrow. Everybody have a great rest of your Friday, or have a great, have a great holiday weekend. If you don't catch us tomorrow, we'll catch you back on Monday. Thank you so much. And in the words of the ancients, eat your food, moisturize, mind your business, and do the work. Because when you actually do the work, you never have to fake any of your accomplishments. Thank you so much again. Good vibes to see and Nita. And we'll see you guys later.
Bye.